Hey traders, Raghee here, and like any market waiting on big news, and this is pretty big news, who's going to be the president for the next 4 years, I typically expect the market to stay within a range. And this is what I had talked about in yesterday's video. How do we define the range? The range can be defined by the clearing range, the high to low between 9:30 and 10, or what I referred to yesterday, which is the volatility range, which you can see we bounced off of for most of the day, and we remained above, within it for the most part, except for now going into the close. We seem to be trending higher a little bit. Now, for those of you that have been following my day trading for any length of time, you know that I want to be done by about 11:30. So what we did today to talk, to really follow through with the plan that I outlined yesterday, is use an oscillator. If you want to use something like a proprietary tool, great, that's the Ready, Aim, Fire. Or if you want to use something like a slow stochastic, that's great. I use a 21K 3D. And then I share openly what the calculation is behind the HPMR. It's the current low, and you add the hourly price movement range average and high, and it's the current high, and you subtract the average and the low of the current HPMR, and it's just a simple arithmetic calculation. This just mechanizes it. It's a luxury. It's not a necessity, but it does make it easy. So we moved from the bottom of the range, which you can see here, to the top of the range, right? And then take a look. Look at what we're doing here. Look at what we're doing here. And in this area here, actually starting at about 1605 to 6, we started building a short position with IWM. Why IWM? Because I knew that there's a likelihood for some volatility up in this area before we move lower. I knew there might be a little bit of chop before the move lower. Our initial target was just below 1600, and then 1595, and then we took our profits in IWM, and we were able to just close everything out and be out of here by 11:30, which is exactly what I want to do. The other market that I faded, and I did not fade the S&P and the NASDAQ today. We didn't see the weakness within the sector. Of them, we didn't see a lot of weakness within individual stocks, so I stuck with the RTY and the Dow. The Dow came a little bit later, and this was around 10:30. And this one took a little bit longer, but luckily, I say luckily, it wasn't really luck, but luckily, our target wasn't that far away. So what we did is we looked for a short, once again in this area with the HPMRs, taking advantage of the 27.5 major psychological level. Thought we might chop, and gosh, we did, all right? But not enough to stop us out. Our initial target was 400, and the target below that was 355. Both those got hit. The 355 got hit later, but you'll notice once we hit 400, we really didn't bounce in any meaningful way, right? So it's easy to sit through all of this noise, and it was pretty noisy, until we get down to 355, and we're out. Now this, again, about an hour later than I would have liked, but nonetheless, it's really good to hit two targets. And then, my day trading is done. First half of the day trading is done. The fade on the upper end of the market, we kept going, by the way. We kept going another 100 points. And those of you that like to trail a stop and took out a second profit target, then a third, that's a whole different conversation. I'm just going to talk about the first two before noon here, right? But that's what we did, right? And then we want to separate the first half of the day, the AM session, separated by the midday doldrums, from the PM session. And now, who knows how the market wants to position going into the end of the day. I don't want any part of it. I hope you guys had a terrific morning. This is a follow-up from the strategy, the exact strategy that I outlined yesterday. Okay? All right. I'll see you in the next update.